Well, hey, friends. The title doesn't lie. It's complicated. Ah, dear. It's a second attempt here. I don't know what happened. I just let the computer on and everything's set up, and I came back and started it. I have to just wait until I think I feel well enough to do this, and then just jump in and do it. And it didn't work. I got all the way through noodles, and it just wasn't working. So restarted everything, and now it appears to be working. So hopefully, just say something in the chat if you can hear me. Hopefully, you can, and we'll continue. Um, I'll begin this with the titular concept here. It's complicated. Tell you a little story. Um, a number of years ago, and it's probably about 20 years ago now, I had the opportunity to spend some time in Celestún, Mexico, a little fishing village on the Gulf Coast. And it's about 60 miles, I think, from the capital of Yucatan, which is Merida. Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate it. And a wonderful little fishing village there is primarily known for its flamingo population. They have some of the pinkest flamingos in the world. And so occasionally cruise ships will come stop in not too far away, bring people over. But mostly it's just a quiet little fishing village. And I loved it. Don't speak much Spanish, but I do try to do like immersion travel. I try to throw myself into the local culture and customs and try to live like they do. And I was had the opportunity to stay there for about 6 weeks, so not a long time, but long enough. But when I first got there, there was a gal. It was like an Airbnb thing, right? And so the gal who was showing us the house wasn't the owner. It's just somebody who the owner knew who lived down the road. And so she came to give us a tour, and she was from Honduras. And so she pretty good English, but kind of broken, and she was describing things. And I noticed at first she was talking about the security system, and she was trying to tell us how to do it. And she stops and she kind of goes, "Well, it's complicated." I thought, well, okay, I'll send an email to the owner, and else I can sort of instructions on this. And so I didn't really think about it too much. And she continued showing us the stuff, and then. As we went outside, she showed us there was a hot tub out there, and she was giving instructions on that, and she was going to tell me that, and she goes, it's complicated. I thought, well, okay, she's not very technical, but that's fine. I mean, no harm, no foul, right? And then we got to the front, and she was clearly trying to tell us how to get in touch with her if we need anything or whatever, and she goes, well, he's complicated. And it suddenly dawned on me that what she was telling me wasn't that the the story it's not that it was complicated, the alarm system or the hot tub or how to use the keys in the door. It was complicated to translate from Honduras into English. It's complicated. It was difficult. So it cracked me up, and from then on, many years later, I kind of default to that sometimes. And when people ask about things, I go, "Well, it's complicated." Often I don't have the words to describe the circumstances, and I think that is probably adequate to describe the world around us. If you happen to read the show notes, most people don't. I don't generally, but I noted here, as well as the little blurb I put over on Facebook. This is the last in the series of P Doom, right? And if you don't know, that's like your personal doom quotient or whatever, and the way you look at the world, which has been running pretty high, and the last few weeks has been no exception. As I mentioned over the last couple of weeks, extremely difficult circumstances all around. And I don't want to get into too much of it. It's not really, that's not the point, because I'm not here to go, oh, poor me, right? Other than to say, and I think this is where I wanted to get to, is that, and as I said before, I think I am not alone in this, right? That the world feels like it's pressing in upon us, and at least that's how I kind of felt. But I also, yeah, things have been a struggle. So just everything, right? The illness just won't. It's unrelenting, won't let up, and every time I think I got something figured out, it's not, and God, that's frustrating. And then I had, when this thing first started with the secondary, whatever the neurological thing was, um, in well, about a year ago, just about a year ago. I kind of went through a little bit of a manic phase because I didn't know what was happening. And I thought, well, this is it. I got to, strike while the iron's hot and get while the getting's good and go do. And so I started kind of trying to line things up. And I'd intended at the time to, make one last gasp and do kind of a busking tour. And then things kind of just slowed down a little bit. And it was clear that a lot of the things that I wanted to do, even as part of that, I wouldn't be able to do under the current conditions that I was in. And so it meant that I would have to recalibrate a bit. And as during that, trying to figure everything out and see what we can get in terms of answers medically and all that kind of good stuff. Then, we get down to the end of the year and had a whole issue with the insurance. And again, I'm not going to get into all that. Just everything got complicated and weird and more and more difficult. And where it seems like no matter what effort you put in, you're getting very little or no return. And that's, frustrating and discouraging. Again, my point here isn't to cry poor me, but rather to say that, again, as I look around, I realize that I am not alone in this set of circumstances. Now, again, it's kind of specific to me in terms of the myalgic encephalomyelitis and the other neurological stuff. But what I do mean is being pressed on every side and feeling like like all the effort that you're putting in it isn't bringing any outcome, right? And so here's for example. In the last couple of weeks, in particular, I have really been struggling with, just self-worth, right? Just crucial, crushing self-doubt. Like, am I doing any good? Is any of this matter? I mean, like right now there's 4 people, which is more than what's here most of the time. And, I'm not complaining. It's, it's not like I ever wanted a huge, see, I say that and somebody leaves. That's awesome. No, but it's not like I wanted a huge channel. And I realized pretty quickly, especially when I started doing stuff with Glowbusters and that sort of thing, that it was going to be you're opening, as soon as you come in with controversial stuff, you can open up cans of worms, and not everybody's nice, and I'm okay with that. I got a pretty thick skin. But one of the things I don't want to do and never did want to do was bring any kind of shame or discredit to my creator, because I make no bones about, I'm not quiet about the fact that I'm just besotted with, I'm just desperately in love with my creator for lots of reasons. Some people get very uncomfortable with that, and that's fine. And some people, were openly hostile toward it, again, which is fine. I get it, and I expect that, right? Honestly, if you're doing properly, right? If you're really hitting close to the target, that's probably going to be what happens. So, all good, right? No problem there. But when you're, going along and you think you're doing the best you can, and just like nothing works, right? And everything just gets worse and harder, and like everything seems hard. It's like, am I really doing anything worth doing? Like, is this even helpful? Right? I feel like sometimes, gosh, I'm just coming here and like every week now I just complain about things going on. I'm like, I don't want to be a bummer. That's the last thing I want to do. I want to encourage you, right? And go, no matter what the circumstances, there's ability there. There's the opportunity to push through, right? But, don't follow me. And boy, here I get to this one. And that's going to be the topic of, even before I get back into Revelation, which I want to get to like almost immediately. But man, I got slapped upside the head with some stuff this week. I haven't been paying attention. So again, indulge me for a moment, if you will. But I haven't really darkened the door much of churches since I moved back to Seattle. I had previously been fairly involved I worked on staff as a worship leader, a teaching pastor in a couple of places, tech director, a variety of things, right? And usually just jump right in and really engaged. But I've also said, that I've never gotten so much healing as in the church, and never so much wounding as in church. And just to give some context, again, I don't get too much in it because I don't really. Well, I guess it's part of this, but I don't really get into the churchianity stuff, right? Like, so again, grew up in a very fundamental, very religious background, Seventh-day Adventist, right? Which is very legalistic in terms of the way they look at things. And so when I, began to go through this process, so I saw it that way, and I realized again, as I said before, I was very good at being bad and very bad at being good. I couldn't get any consistency, and then so I just kind of ended up in this uneasy standoff for quite a while with the Creator until I finally gave in, and then I ended up in a full gospel charismatic type church, and my first reaction was, whoa, what is this craziness going on here? People dancing around, flopping around, doing the tuna, waving flags. I was like, boy, this is not very. It doesn't feel sacred, right? It feels I don't know, wild. And I was like, I got to go find a real church. And the moment that thought crossed my mind, I could feel the presence of God like right next to me, just like looking over at me with those big God glasses and going, dude, which one of us is God? And I went, you are. I said, I'm just checking. Is it okay if I receive worship any way I like and you can shut up? And I went, yes, sir. That'd be great. And I never ended up leaving. I kept thinking I was going to go to another church, and I didn't. And again, in that church, I stayed for about 4 years, and again, became an integral part of it. Was on the team there, and started up a singles ministry while in the time I was there, and was on multiple worship teams and led the tech team and did all kinds of stuff. But that's not to say I didn't have my problems there. And mostly caused by, other people. And what I've discovered, and I just this last week talked to a good brother and friend of mine, and a real mentor to me, Bill. Talked to him this week, and he gave me so many, great lines as he kind of mentored me in my, as I was at the time, still working in ministry in terms of things like that. I was always bothered by the people who wanted to show up, that they were, as I would say, they were in love with the power of God instead of the God of power. To which he acknowledged and said, yeah, anytime you turn on a light in the darkness, you're inevitably going to draw some bugs. It was so great. I was like, yeah, that's right there. I really connected with that. So I talked to Bill this week, and Bill is he's having health struggles too. More than mine. He had a number of things happen. I can't even remember the name of it now because it's kind of hard to understand him. But like me, he had some stuff and lost his teeth, and then he got these blisters, and it attacks mucous membranes, and so it was inside of his mouth, and then in his eye, and he lost one eye, and he may lose the other. And I was like, well, how's your heart? And he goes, man, I'm looking forward to martyrdom. I'm like, amen. Like, don't threaten me with a good time. Let's get out of here, right? But one of the things that I was talking to him about, because Bill was a powerful man of God, and again, I consider him like a father to me. And I had been, like I said, when I left Salt Lake City and came back to Seattle, I was led by the Spirit, just not, my most normal thing would be to find a church and just jump in with both feet. And I was advised against it. He said, no, just go visit, right? Go around. And I felt kind of weird about it. Like it felt sneaky and like I was, church hopping or church shopping or whatever. And, but everywhere I would go, Now, one thing to be advised, I suppose, is that to be aware of is that Seattle is and has been for better part of a decade now considered the most unchurched, least spiritual city in the United States, and I can testify to that is the case. It's not just that they're not friendly to Christianity; they're openly hostile against it, and so it is. Hey, Nemo, great to see you, man. So it's it's kind of a weird experience for me. And then so I would go to places, but I'd inevitably find, and this is what really discouraged me, right? Was I'd go to places and I would find something wrong with it, right? I mean, I was just going to observe, but what I really found mostly was like, hey, welcome to our great club here. And you're cool if you're in our club. What I didn't hear was a lot about, Jesus or the creator or any of that. Some self-help, new agey stuff. And it bugged me, right? And then it bugged me that it bugged me, right? And so here I was in a position of like whatever you focus on, you tend to become like that. And so I was looking at people who were being judgmental and looking at the outward appearance. But I found very quickly that but that was me. I was doing exactly that, looking at the outward appearance and being judgmental and going, but I don't really know their heart, I guess. It was an interesting learning period, but during that period, I did go ahead and keep my, I guess if you want to say certification or whatever, I continued to do like marriages. People would ask me to marry them, do that because I love them, and I did have one particular instance, right, where they specifically came to me because they had gone to the church that I had gone to in Salt Lake City, and they had asked them to marry them, and they had said no, that they had concerns about it, and having to do with it. He had previously been married, and they divorced, I guess you would say for cause in the Christian vernacular, and so he was free to go elsewhere, but his ex-wife continued to go to the church that he used to go to, and so she hit that pastor up, got in his ear, and said, "Hey, I still want to get back with him, even though she was the one that caused the marriage to disintegrate." And so that pastor got together with her, the girl I know, that pastor, and said, "Oh, well, as long as there's an opportunity that she still wants to get back together, then we have to, push that we have to ship them." It's like, wait, what? And yeah, so I called that pastor and said, "Hey, I want you to know that they've asked me to do this, and I'm going to do it. And they told me that you didn't want to do it, and told me why. And I'm going to say that while you may not feel comfortable with it, I have no such compunction, And well, you can imagine how that went over. It's like a fart in church. He didn't take it well, and I didn't expect that. So, frankly, and what I see around me, right, I haven't had cause to spend a lot of time in the air quotes Christian community for some time. I've never been particularly evangelical about trying to push people into accepting things the way that I see them. So I simply try to live my life in a way that if that's appealing and you're interested, I'm happy to talk to you about it, right? And encourage those others who follow the way and are looking for support. I'm willing to do that. So, I've said before, I don't have any Kool-Aid to sell, but if a weary traveler is looking for a cup of cool water along the way, come hit me up. I'm happy to share. And that's really the basis of what I, try to do here, at least now, kind of, as you know. I mean, again, presumably those of you who are here from before the before time, right? Where, as Lucas says, the ball folks, right? And, geometric agnosticism and all that sort of stuff. And so, I was surprised being on, different things, the Crow 777 a number of times, and then, with Jason regularly over on his channel, and then a variety of other things, right? Just kind of grew the channel. But, again, I always felt compelled to speak truth as I understood it. I don't want to say speak my truth because I don't really buy that I think truth is mostly immutable, but we can certainly give our observations on what we see to be that, and I think that we're probably all wrong, right? But if we can try to get as close as we can to it, and together try to work out, the best way to. Again, I'm just not into that, right? So the reason I'm saying all this is that over in the last couple of weeks, and specifically this last week, well, I guess I would point this out, is that Happy Irish Day to you as well. I'm not Irish, but I'll have a drink later. I'll have a little shot of whiskey to celebrate. So before I went to Salt Lake City, I had been in Redding, California for a couple of years when I left Los Angeles, and where I'd been, primarily working in the music industry. And Reading was kind of a little break, and that's a place where I really encountered God. But it was in a little church there, non-denominational, but I was aware of and had friends, many people who went to Bethel Church there. And again, I don't want to lose people who are not really into the church thing, but there's some stuff that I feel like I have to talk about, and that I will probably kind of bleed a little bit into next week as a transition into going back into the study of Scripture, because it was both a surprise to me, I suppose, not a surprise. I just wasn't aware of it. So again, I've been exposed to a lot of this sort of new apostolic reformation kind of thing, and I was really thrown back by what I saw the few times that I was at Bethel, and specifically a couple of their kids that came over to our church, and in conversations with them, and at one point, one of the kids said something to the effect. And I'm trying to get this as close as I can because I made him repeat it because I really wanted to hear what he was saying, asking about goals or whatever. And he said, he's sold out to a man in his vision. And I went, what? And I said, repeat that. Wait, what? Sold out to a man in his vision. That being Bill Johnson over at Bethel. And I thought, that's one of the scariest things I've ever heard. And you don't get there by accident. Right, you get there because somebody tells you to, and that kind of shook me up. Didn't have much time to think about it. I shortly after that took a job back in the industry and went back to, and that's when I ended up in Salt Lake City. But the gal that I had met while I was there in the music store that I ran, she was a Bethelite, and so when I moved. We had gotten engaged, and I moved before we got married. So I flew back. Got married, and then she came out with me. But the person that came, I don't know, wasn't the person from before. And so the short version of this is that Bethel twisted her mind. And then when she came out to Salt Lake City, and, even though I found a great church home there and get started, she didn't have the same stuff that she had from there, and then she was communicating with them, and then not with me, and essentially they, again, I don't want to lay too much at everybody's feet. Everybody had a part that they played in it, right? But specifically, again, Bill and Chris Valentin over there, especially Chris, right? Essentially convinced her that because she told them how she was feeling, and so they they knew her, and so they get one side of the story, and they just basically tell her to leave me, and she went out and had an affair. It was crazy. But I wasn't the only one. Like a bunch of people that I knew over the years that I was there, broken marriages and relationships, and just bad stuff. And again, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I don't have any. I don't need to go out running around attacking people. You see that even here, I don't go attacking other channels and telling them they're wrong. I don't get into YouTube drama. I don't do that. That's not why I'm here, right? I don't even tell you to like and subscribe. I mean, what kind of terrible YouTuber am I? I mean, I don't ever mention it. I don't tell you to give me money or anything. I just just, hey, come hang out, come visit. And let's try to do this together. In the last couple of weeks here, and so during that period of time, there was a couple, because I was doing worship stuff. There was a worship artist, Jason Upton, who I really liked, and I jived with some of his music, and he did what we call like free worship, right? We just kind of playing and singing over it, and I kind of got into doing some of that. I would do it here during noodling, but my voice is giving out. I can't really hold it now because of the tremors, right? It's like. I'm pretty soon I'm going to start sounding like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., right? The voice is can't, it's quiver, right? I can't hold anything. And it's the reason I can't type. And now I have to apologize quickly, too. I wanted to thank Jane so much for your lovely emails. And I tried to respond, and I can't type on my iPad. It keeps going, and it's terrible. And I haven't been able to really sit down long enough. So I've been like 2 weeks now meaning to write you back. I love you so much. Thank you so much for the lovely words. And Donald Lee, thank you so much for your kind words. And I'm getting distracted. It's just, yeah, I'm going to come back to this. So I saw something, again, this artist, Jason Upton, I was really into. And there was another one, kind of a female artist, Misty Edwards. And she did some really, I thought, really anointed sounding stuff and was kind of into it. And certainly my wife was really into that. And she was really into that thing. And so I knew that they were out at a place in Kansas City, Missouri, out in the middle of the U.S. called International House of Prayer, IHOP. They had a 24-hour prayer room. They did prayer and intercession, but I was hearing some troubling things, and I know how it can be when people like really, do that stuff. But again, I haven't had any connection to it at all for the last 15 plus years. And then I saw, over the last couple of weeks here, a bunch of videos that showed up in my feed, and God knows how, because again, it's not something I normally look at or pursue, but that the founder and longtime leader of IHOP KC, which is Mike Bickle, had been accused of, and these were not Johnny Depp type accusations. These were very serious and very credible accusations of impropriety over a long period of time. And then it came out that not only him, but really there was a culture of abuse there. And in part that included the previously mentioned Misty Edwards. And again, I don't say any of this to slander their name. I assume that probably most of you don't even know who these people are, right? Because my assumption is that most of you who are here have no experience really in that world. But I do. I have. And it was so grievous to me. And I spent the last week not only ill, but watching videos of people who have been torn apart. Their entire spiritual life has been just demolished, torn asunder, because people that they trusted, they find out, are not trustworthy, and in really bad ways. And moreover, when it came out, they didn't acknowledge it and confess, but rather tried to take those people down, and that's not good. And then it came out, right? More stuff that that Misty had been in multiple affairs, and again, I don't care who sleeps with who. What did bother me is that she had made a big deal about being, celibate, that she was, like married to God, and she's going to do all this stuff and not pursuing a family and relationship and all that stuff. And it turns out to be BS, right? And it's like, okay, again, I don't care. I've done my stuff, man. Trust me. You guys know most of what I've done. I admit to it, right? I've failed many times. But I don't know, not like that stuff that I know. I don't know, anyway, what bothered me more than them having these problems, because I kind of expected. I've been seeing this stuff. I've been around a while now, And so I know what people get up to when nobody's looking. And so I know I've learned not to trust people. And I maybe that's sad, right? But like, for example, there's a guy there at Bethel. And to give, again, some context is that, these people are into, again, this new apostolic reformation, and they're big on the gifts of the Spirit, which I'm cool with, right? I'm not a cessationist. I'm like, he promised that greater things than this will you do, right? And I take that as a promise, and I think he didn't just mean those people. I think he meant everyone. If you enjoying yourself and you're filled with the power of the Holy Spirit, that power will just bleed out of you and surround you and do amazing, miraculous things. And yeah. Anyway, so there's I don't have any problem with healing or even, again, the gift of prophecy. What I do have a problem with is what I saw there at Bethel and over, right, is that people misusing that and telling people that they're speaking from God when they're not. Especially those in leadership, using it as a tool of abuse. This is exactly what has gone on at IHOP and many other places, is that they have abused people in a variety of different ways. Just basically call it clergy abuse. For their own ends. Again, be it money, be it sexual gratification, be it just glory, whatever, right? The original sin is pride. And that's what kept Mike from acknowledging his failure, pride. And all of this, right, I bring to you for these reasons, not for the salaciousness of it, right? Not because it's titillating, like, oh, these people had an affair, right? Kevin Prosh, another well-known worship leader, and Misty Edwards, they got together, and ooh, like, oh, yeah, I mean, it's what really, I think, grieves my spirit beyond the thousands of people who were misled and broken, right, is that it once again brings up fuel for everybody, right? So in the same way that when I call out politicians for bullshit because they, how do you know when a politician's lying? Their lips are moving. So I call them all out. But as soon as you call out one from the left, everybody, on the left goes, oh, you're a right winger. Well, no, I don't vote for those guys either. Like, or if you call out somebody on the right, oh, you're one of those lefties. No, I don't do that. Right. So, if you attack, anything that they feel, protective of, they think that you're automatically in the other camp. And so it is here with, again, within the this Christianity domain, right? Christendom is that you have orthodoxy, I guess, again, air quotes on the one side, orthodoxy on the one side, and they consider any manifestation of the Holy Spirit to be an illusion of the devil. That any kind of spirituality that we see, any miracle, right, to this day, is going to be a manifestation of the devil because of cessationism. God doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't show up anymore in people's lives. And obviously, this directly comes from the Catechism, right, because they consider themselves the authority, and so nobody else can do that. And yeah, absolutely, man will always fail you, right? That's, again, the reason I brought this up, that this kid had mentioned that he was sold out to this man in his vision over at Bethel, that struck me. It's like, man, you don't follow people. They're always going to disappoint you, right? And always. And so I would, again, say very clearly, because, I've had a couple of people, come to me and try to, accuse me of false doctrine. I'm like, what? Like, I'm okay. I don't really consider myself a teacher per se like that, right? I tell you what I think and I tell you what I see, but I don't claim the mantle of a teacher or a prophet or an apostle or any of that stuff. If Dad wants to come put it on me, fine, but I'll be happy to do whatever he wants, right? But right now, I'm just trying to be a good kid, right? And get home as best I can and encourage those around me to do the same, right? And to help people if I can. And mostly, I don't think I do very good at that. I'm going through a lot of struggle myself right now, and so I don't know how helpful I am, but I'm trying to be. But when I see this out there, where you've got on the one hand people causing devastation, and on the other hand, people are using that as an opportunity to say, again, falsely, that, see, it is even apostate to even attempt to have a direct communication with your Creator. You must go through the organization of the church and through liturgy. What? This is exactly the opposite of what Jesus said, right? So look, follow, man. If you want to follow at all, follow Jesus. It's the only it's the only thing I know that works. And I'm not telling you that because I think you should. It's just that, that's the only thing I found that works. So that's what I got. I've gone through every kind of thing imaginable, right? I'm a pretty bright guy, but not that smart, right? And I make lots of mistakes and do lots of stupid stuff, including, right, going off all this stuff in Gnosticism and alchemy and all this sort of stuff. Man, I've been through all of it. That's why when I get to the end and people keep pushing it, I go, okay, you can feel free to do that. But I know where the road goes, and there's always there's always that little extra. Oh, you're just missing that one little thing, that one little component, and that one little secret thing, and you're going to get it, right? But that's exactly what IHOP KC was selling, right? Just in a different package. Oh, it's just a little bit more, just like get in close with the secret. We're going to give you the secret knowledge. No. The only deep and secret knowledge gets revealed by the Holy Spirit over time. With you're dwelling in the presence of God, staying focused. Whatever you focus on, that's what you become like. So if you focus on the problems around you, you're going to be caught up in those problems. If you focus on your Creator, you're going to get caught up in the love of your Creator. These are just basic cause and effect stuff, right? It's pretty straightforward. And again, I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm saying go out and test it for yourself. Don't trust me, right? Don't trust me. I'll let you down just like everybody else, right? Like I got nothing special, I mean, I got more problems than a math textbook. I got more issues than National Geographic. So, I'm not that special. Right. I just, I'm grateful and I love my Creator. Right. And I try to pay attention, and I see that it looks like we're getting, close to something remarkable happening. I just want to share, this came to mind. I want to share this, from Psalm 32. You're my hiding place, and you will protect me from trouble and surround me with songs of deliverance. And I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. Don't be like the horse or the mule, which have no understanding, but must be controlled by bit and bridle, or they will not come to you. Many are the woes of the wicked, but the Lord's unfailing love surrounds the one who trusts in him. Rejoice in the Lord and be glad, you righteous, and sing, all you who are upright in heart. Jesus said in Matthew 28, this is after the resurrection, all authority on heaven and earth has been given to me. Go therefore and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe everything I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. So that's my encouragement, right? Is that, right now it feels bitterly disappointing when things don't go well, and it feels like you're all alone, and there is no one out there to talk to. That no one is on your side, and that you've been abandoned. David, the psalmist, said, when your spirits are with me, I can leap a wall. Right? I can shoot a bow of bronze, but when you're not with me, I'm terrified. And that's my story. These last couple of weeks, it feels as if Well, it feels as if the presence is withdrawing. I give in to fear. I don't like it. I don't know what to do. So I try to go back to the last thing I know to do and do that. But what I came to this week is that as a result of all these changes, both in the world around us and in my own physicality, that if I continue to look at the things that I no longer can do, these things that I cannot do, that cause me to despair, because I thought I saw it. I thought I saw how it was going to go, and suddenly I realized I can't do those things. I can't. I don't have the strength or the energy to do those things that I once could. And that became obviously a subject of great consternation. And I cry out and go, Dad, why, what, why? And I feel like, did I do something wrong? Like, have I offended you in some way? I'm like panic. I even did that, and I make a call and apologize directly to a friend of mine, Andrew. Right, we talk fairly regularly, and I hadn't heard from him for a minute, and I thought, oh gosh, for my first thought always, because we go through like the parallel things. So when I get attacked, it's like he gets attacked, and so I get that, and so I was like, first thing going, hey, I'm worried, or gosh, did I offend you in some way? And I was so worried about it. And I'm, again, most of that comes back, I think, to ego and pride. My feelings were hurt because, like, oh, I don't think I did anything. And it's just dumb. It's a dumb way to spend your time. He said he would be with us until the end. And I know from my experience that he is faithful. He said, I will never leave you or forsake you. And he's proven it to me. Now, again, I put myself in the awkward space of going, well, trust me, but trust him, right? Like, I suggest it, but I say, go to him. He said, taste and see that the Lord is good. And I continue to raise the flag on that. So, again, I don't want to go too deep tonight because I don't want to wear you out or me. I only have so much energy I can do at a brief time, but I might start just doing more of these every day if I can. The things that I see every day, because they pile up, and when I get to the week, I can't cover them all. But I wanted to encourage you this week that no matter what's happening around you, so I guess I missed kind of the point on this ecumenical battle, right, that's going on now between the Orthodox, the ultra-Orthodox, and sort of the ultra-liberal charismatics, right? They're aiming at each other, and within certainly the sort of charismatic full gospel, right? They're being exposed, certainly, and that's I think a good thing. Is that when false leaders and false prophets get exposed, that's a good thing. But also, what happens again? Those who have put their faith in and put all their effort into, again, like this one kid selling out to a man in his vision. Why would you sell out to a man? Oh man, I just can't. And it's just, oh hey, Andrew. Like, I love you, man. I just need to call you, and I tried earlier, but I was just so like what did we talk fairly regularly, and so I hadn't heard from you for a minute, and so, but I think it's like it's not you, right? I tried to, I guess, tell you it's like not you. It's sort of like everything. I feel like, oh my gosh, did I step in some poop or something? Have I done something wrong? Because it felt like the spirit had backed up a little bit, right? Like I was alone, and but I'm here to tell you tonight that I'm not alone, and that you're not alone. And again, I want to apologize for those who have sent emails of the most beautiful things. Thank you so much. Jane and Winston, gosh, it's so great to hear from you. And I tried like several times, and all I have access to at the time was my iPad, and I just couldn't make it go. And it's so frustrating because all the words that I call it autocorrupt, it's just so bad. It just makes you say terrible, stupid things. I'm like, it's so frustrating. So I will try again this week, and maybe I'll try voice text or something. Sometimes that works a little bit better. But I've been meaning to respond. But I just want to openly and publicly say thank you so much for those of you who have encouraged me. Email, text over the last few weeks. Thank you so much, because it has been crushing. Just like, yeah, again, my point, I don't want to complain. But I do want to say that if you are feeling pressured and pressed on every side, you're not alone, right? And I think, again, the point of this is to get us discouraged and to get us to give up and to feel like that we just can't. And so I have come with this now new mindset. So from today forward, that I realize I have to accept that I cannot do the things that I used to do in the way that I expected, and the things that I was comfortable with. And I'm going to just have to say, in my weakness, he is strong, and just go, I'm going to have to find some other way to go on. I can't do what, or even try to do what I did before, because all that's going to happen, I was going to get incredibly frustrated, exasperated, and want to quit because I can't do it. And I guess that's my challenge to you, right, is if you're in a similar spot, right, where you feel like everything is going wrong and you just can't make it go, but you're doing the right thing. Well, again, if you don't know, always my suggestion, check in with Dad, right? Always first thing, right? And just make sure it's okay. But if there's no, secret sin, if you got nothing going on there, and again, remember, all the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes. If he's pointed out to you, be honest, be transparent, own it. Just own it, right? Don't be like Mike Bickle, right? Don't do that. But I'm going to talk about that particular thing a little bit more next week. I think I want to focus on that because it's a spiritual battle, and it's going right into the next phase, which is I want to go right into again, Revelation and what we see, at least what I'm reading in eschatology there, and go where I think we might be. And I want to get your input on it. I've been talking to my brother frequently. Like I said, few people I know study as diligently as does he. And so I know that I can trust that, at least he's going to tell me what he thinks, right? And sometimes we disagree, but most of the time we both end up going, I don't know, right? That's ultimately, I don't know. So anyway, I want to do more of that with you, but I wanted to just share this this experience this week, right? In a way that hopefully to encourage you, right? To say that if you are yourself struggling with these things, self-doubt, right? Exasperation, frustration, and it feels like nothing you can do is right. Or if you, like me, the devil is whispering in your ear and going, dude, you got nothing. You're so screwed up. You're just dumb. It's a lie, right? It's a lie. He that endures to the end will be saved. And again, I feel like I can trust that because I can trust him. I just, again, I'm not trying to sell you on it. I have just over time, through experience, learned to trust him. And he said, my sheep will know my voice. Right? Be not deceived. That's the thing. That's the thing that really, got me about all these things. If you get the whole, if we got this whole city of prophets, right, in Kansas City, none of them were able to discern, right, the problem that's sitting right there, like openly. Seems odd. I don't know, man. Anyway, I don't want to belabor the point. Thank you so much for coming by and visiting me tonight. I've missed you guys so much. I love you so much, and I apologize. I have given in to discouragement the last few weeks, it has been just a struggle. Like everything feeling like it's going wrong. Even tonight, I started the first stream and it didn't go. So I had to start everything over and try again. Hopefully, it is worth your time to come here. I do love having you here, and so delighted to see you. So again, next week I'm going to talk a bit more about this thing, pancakes and prayers, something like that, and just about the battle that's going on in the kingdom right now. It seems like we are right there on the precipice of something enormous. And again, I have no claim to be able to do anything but just encourage you. Just be your biggest cheerleader, right? Let's go! Let's freaking go! Yeah. So, no, I agree. It does take experience to recognize the spirits. But again, from their claim, if they're claiming to, receive direct, prophetic words from God, but they can't discern spirits, it's a dangerous spot to put people in. That's all I got. Anyway, I love you guys so much. I'll throw this at you here, a little old school tunage from the boys, and thank you so much for being here. I may just do some random streams this week. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I want to get out, and I'm kind of behind. So I love you guys. Thanks so much for coming, and we'll talk to you again soon. Be well.
Visible streets from me to your side, marking a pathway where solace resides. But solace is tempered with a burden of proof. The hearts are sincere and let's speak the truth. Your innocence is an endearing quality, but also serve